Hi guys, welcome to Frank Murphy Longevity Fitness. This is the beginner series. This is the last one. I'm going to go through just some mobility exercises that I do to keep the body above ground a little bit longer. These mobility exercises, all they are really, they're modifications on the big compound exercises like squats, bench press, pulling, bear crawling, general movement on the floor to see that we have a little bit more life left in the joints and in the whole body. One exercise that I shied away from a lot was the squat, because every time I did a squat, I was saying the instructor would say to me, or the coach would say, your back is bent, and this is a common mistake. So I go down for the squat, but I get to over here, then I'd bend my back and I'd be lifting weight, so my back is bent and I'm putting pressure on the small of my back. And in your lumbar part of your spine, that's where you're going to have trouble. So you need to keep the back straight and come back up and down like this. And you'll also need to do it going back. Isn't too bad. When you step back, that's not too bad, because I have some control like this here. And I'm stepping back, that's not too bad. I can keep my balance, I can keep my back straight, and I can do that reasonably enough. When you see guys going forward on a forward squat like this, or any turn, they're a bit wobbly, and that can cause more harm than good. So how do we break that down? One way, I mentioned this in the last time, and I'm a great believer in this. This will elevate my ankles. So I'm going to stand on this, and I can go straight down on this one here. Now, even though you might, and I can lift weights here, and I can pull them up, and I have a nice pose there. Now look, I have good form. I'm down and I'm up. That's quite straight now. Down and up. Now, how do I break that down even further? Can I just isolate one part of my body, one part of my hip, one knee and one ankle? And I'll show you how to do that now, and I'll use an ordinary chair you have in your kitchen to do that one next. Probably playing second fiddle to the good old hamstrings, these stretches where you stick your leg up on something. The quadriceps might come in for less attention. Quadriceps on the front here. So we've all seen this one, hand on the wall after a run, lifting the leg like this. Point your hip there, point your knee towards your knee down to the floor, stand like this, and you're pulling your heel back to your backside, and you're standing straight. So that's getting a nice stretch on the front of my body there. A little bit on the hip flexor, not too much, but a lot on the quads there. So that's a good one to start off with. You could make it even easier again by lying on the floor. And like this, you're lying like this here. You can lift your leg like this, and then pull your leg back. So I'm supporting on the floor, and I'm pulling this back. If you can get it with two hands, even better again, and pull that back straight, and just hold that for maybe 10 seconds, real intensely. You could probably do a bit of a PNF movement. You're pushing against it, but I just enjoy that stretch there. It's a nice passive movement, a nice passive stretch, and it's also safe as well. Obviously, do all these exercises on both sides of your body, okay? I'm caught a lot there on this one here. That hinge there, that's called your hip flexor, and I'm caught this way. So if I was doing like when I step forward on a squat there, I feel myself caught a little bit here. So a good way to exercise that one is put your knee, approach the chair sideways, have a cushion there on the chair, approach it like this, step beyond it like this, a little bit, not too much, keep your back straight, and I'm going to go down here like that now in such a position that my hip flexor, I'm right down, and I can really feel that now just in here. That's it. That's all I'm doing is stretching that there like this, and obviously the same with the other leg. So eventually I will be able to then to make it to translate that. I will instead of trying to do this kind of stuff, I'm going to hold the chair here. Don't know this time. I know my leg is there, so I'm going to go forward here. So look, see here now. Now I have a little bit more, but I'm quite safe, and I don't have the balance problem. And all I'm here now is this, is the mobility and the flexibility one there. Even if I put my leg on the floor, I'm still using the chair. I can go forward, I can relax the back of the foot, and I can get a really deeper stretch now on the front of my thigh there, like this, like that. And you can really feel it here on the hip flexor like this. And yet another one on the quads and on the hip flexor. This is known as an ATG squat, ass to grass, you know, your ass down to grass, but I've got a chair here. So foot is up there, my knee is going to go forward. I drive my knee over the toes, keep my body straight, and my back leg then, I'm going to, if you look, I can use the handle on that chair there to push my leg back, and I'm going to try to lock that, and I get a really nice stretch there now on this one here again. So that's a really great stretch. So I'm hitting that now at a few different angles. So I've got that now at a few different angles like this. Just move around, and eventually you'll feel comfortable in these exercises after a while. And again, 10 on the right, 10 on the left. Okay, an exercise known as Nordic curls. You can do this for both a strengthening exercise, or you can do it for a stretching exercise. A strength one would be lift your bum off your heels, hands like this forward, and going back as far as you can there. So you're using the strength now in your quads and in your glutes to hold your body up and back up again. You could do 10 of them. There, body straight and back up again. And they're quite a good burn on the front of your quads like this here, there, and back up again. And if you wanted a flexible one, and even if you put a small pillow under the arch of your back, like a big foam roller, like a bigger one, you can go back down, and you can see I can get a little bit more flexibility down on this one here. I can support myself with my hands or with my elbows, and you'll know when my knees are lifting on the front. I haven't got there yet. I want to get it right down if I can, almost my whole body down, and that will give me maximum flexibility on both my quads at the same time. There is just one more. This is a couch stretch. I first came across this in his excellent book, Dr. Kelly Starrett, The Supple Leopard, and he reckons you could do this on a couch. So you bend your leg on a couch. Just imagine there's a couch there, but you can do it again safely by the wall. At least this is how I do it. So I'm like this by a wall. I'm kneeling close to the wall, and I'm going to put my hands like this. So you do need an element of flexibility for this. As you can see, I have done the previous exercises quite a lot. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to pivot on one knee like this until one knee comes right up to the wall like this. So my knee is close to the wall. So I've turned sideways, and now I turn this way. So I'm going to put the other leg in front like this, and I'm going to go right back. I'm going to, as you can see there, look, my leg is at the back of the wall, and my other hand is here. And that's a really great stretch, especially on your quads, with more especially on your hip flexor there. And the closer you go back to the wall, that's it. So all these quad exercises, the quadricep exercises and the hip flexor exercises, they're neglected quite a lot. We sit a lot, we drive a lot, on a PC a lot. And also, a lot of my career, when I was doing taekwondo, I stretched my hamstrings and my glute a lot more than I ever done these ones. So don't worry if you're over 50, if you break things down and modify it to suit your body and your ability over time, you can get just as flexible in most areas of your body if you break it down. Well, that covers the quads and the hip flexor. Now, if you're experiencing any pain or any discomfort or, tingling, for God's sake, stop. Our days of intensity, they're probably gone. But look, we can go a lot better if we manage exercise that we can, sustain in the long term. I will not do an exercise, any exercise or any lifting or any big goal, that's too much for me that I cannot sustain it. And that's what's made me, I suppose, stay in the game a lot longer than most of my own contemporaries. I'm not saying that to show off or anything like that, but I never overtrained, if you like. I like having a little bit left in the tank every time I left the gym. So if you like the channel, thank you for your subscriptions already. And if you haven't subscribed already, now would be a great time to like and subscribe and recommend. And if you have any comments on anything on these first 4 videos, I'm after doing 4 of these basic ones now, just to get you started on the fitness program when you're over 50 and above. And if you have any comments to make, and if you have any requests or anything like that, by all means, let me know down in the comments. I'd really love that. And thank you very much for your support so far. Mind yourself.